Hey everyone, you've heard it before. I don't need to go to church to have a relationship with God. I've heard it so many times. While I believe that's true, you definitely don't have to go to church to have a relationship with God. It's my belief and understanding that we need church to have a full and thriving faith. I like to talk about something called holistic faith, and there are many different pieces of the puzzle that go into creating a holistic faith. And one of those pieces, one of those primary pieces, is going to church. Theologian Dwight L. Moody said this: church attendance is as vital to a disciple as a transfusion of rich, healthy blood to a sick man. When our spiritual health is lacking, we're sick. Consider someone who is taking their vitamins daily, drinking lots of water, exercising, getting enough sleep. Missing a few days of that isn't going to hurt. But if he started to do that for weeks or months or years at a time, his health is going to decrease. And when people hit adulthood so often, mid-20s, 30s, whatever, a lot of times they let church go. And in turn, a lot of other aspects of their faith also go. So now that we've been in pandemic for 18 months and going on now, who knows how long we have left. I know some churches still haven't even reopened. Some will never reopen. And a lot of people just have stopped going. Things like prayer, reading scripture, fellowship, worship, all of these things are parts of our holistic faith. It's like if you think about your body, if you were eating really healthy, but you weren't getting enough sleep, you're missing something. If you're exercising a lot, but you're eating a lot of junk, you're missing something. There's no way you're going to be at your optimal prime place that you want to be. And honestly, you can really say the same for your spiritual health. If you're missing a piece of that holistic part of your faith, one of them being going to church, which is something that I focus on specifically, that aspect of our faith, you're not going to be thriving as well as you could. I 100% believe that God wants every Christian to be a part of a local church community. And I 100% believe that he works through those people in our local churches, and we hear him more clearly and we know him much more deeply when we're a part of those communities, even as imperfect and uncomfortable as they may be sometimes. Yes, if you have stumbled upon this video, you are probably feeling like you're not fully spiritually healthy. Like there's something that's telling you that there's something missing, and that maybe you do need to go back to church, or maybe you do need to find that piece of your holistic faith that's missing in order to get back that relationship with God that you really want. And even if you're feeling fine, I always like to ask this question: is fine good enough? Is fine good enough for what you really want, for the most important relationship in our lives, that relationship with God? Do we really want to settle for fine, or do we want to see what he has in store when we take him at his word and do those things that he calls us to do? And when he says he will open up the floodgates for us of blessing, like he means that. But part of that is having faith, and part of that is believing him when he says that he loves the church as imperfect as it is, and when he calls us to a local church body. It's important to create these habits and get into these rituals and make sure we are padding our lives with the things that we need to always be coming back to God and letting him be sort of our default rather than him being our last resort. I love reading the Old Testament because in the Old Testament, the temple is where God dwelled, and he didn't really dwell anywhere else. But today, God's Spirit is not confined to a structure. It's not just in a temple. It's not just in a church building, but where we usually can find it in the most, vivacious way possible is in the community of believers, in the church, which is not a structure, but a people.